The world's nuclear balance is under intense scrutiny. From Moscow to Washington and on the front lines in Ukraine, the stakes have never been higher. Today, we explore the latest developments: Russia's nuclear posture, the state of the US arsenal, and the unprecedented risks facing Europe's largest nuclear power plant. At the Valdai International Discussion Club in Sochi, Russian President Vladimir Putin delivered a stark message to the world's nuclear powers. Russia is ready, Russia is confident, and Russia will not be restrained alone. Speaking on October 2nd, Putin unveiled Moscow's latest weapons capabilities while casting doubt on the future of nuclear arms control, setting the stage for a dangerous new era of nuclear brinkmanship.
It doesn't depend solely on us. If the American administration agrees to our proposals, I know what will happen within a year. But what will happen beyond that is hard to say. Dialogue is not easy. We know the pitfalls of this dialogue. Firstly, we have acquired many modern, high-tech weapon systems. Take Oreshnik, for example.
Putin emphasized that Russia continues to develop advanced systems, maintaining strategic parity with the United States. The Russian president also addressed the potential renewal of the New START treaty, suggesting that if the United States doesn't extend limits on deployed warheads, Russia sees no need to do so either. He reiterated confidence in Moscow's nuclear shield and strategic forces.
We know there are people in the US who say, we don't need any extension of START treaty. Well, if they don't need it, then neither do we. Overall, we're doing fine. We're confident in our nuclear shield. We know what to do tomorrow and the day after. If they don't need it, neither do we.
On the issue of arms control, Putin expressed frustration over calls to involve China in future treaties, questioning why the nuclear potential of NATO allies such as France and the United Kingdom was not also taken into account.
We're constantly being told, persuade China to join this strategic offensive arms limitation system. Why us? Anyone who wants to involve China, go ahead and negotiate with China. Why us? But we have a question. If China needs to be included, why leave out the nuclear potential of Great Britain and France? They're NATO members after all, especially since France wants to provide its nuclear umbrella to all of United Europe. So, what, not take that into account?
Putin's statements shows Moscow's readiness to act if other nuclear powers proceed with tests, highlighting the fragile state of dialogue between Russia and the United States. Across the Atlantic, a new report raises serious concerns about the US nuclear arsenal. According to the Heritage Foundation, America's current stockpile is outdated and insufficient to counter growing threats from Russia, China, and North Korea. The report, authored by Robert Peters of Heritage's Allison Center for National Security, argues that the United States arsenal of around 1,750 deployed warheads leaves the country vulnerable. China alone is producing roughly 100 new nuclear weapons per year, and by the 2030s could achieve parity with the United States.
The newest warhead that we have was built in 1989. The force size that we have now, that was a force design that came up when President Obama was in office in 2010, and the assumptions were in 2010 that there would be no more real competition between the United States and Russia, and China was not even a real player on the nuclear field.
Peters' report recommends tripling the deployed US arsenal by 2050, proposing a modernized force of roughly 4,600 nuclear weapons, including strategic warheads for ICBMs, submarines, and bombers, as well as non-strategic tactical weapons. The report highlights that modern nuclear strategy focuses on counterforce targeting, striking enemy silos, missile fields, and command infrastructure, rather than city busting. Each site may require multiple warheads to ensure destruction.
The goal is never to get to this point. That's why you have nuclear weapons, to make sure you never get to this point.
Peters' recommendations also include new Sentinel ICBMs, Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines, nuclear-capable B-21 stealth bombers, and long-range hypersonic missiles. An effort to ensure that the US maintains credible deterrence amid accelerating global nuclear expansion. Meanwhile, the war in Ukraine has brought Europe's largest nuclear power plant into the spotlight. On October 2nd, Vladimir Putin hinted at potential strikes on Ukrainian nuclear facilities, framing it as a mirror response to attacks near Zaporizhzhia.
The difficulty is that, as you understand, it is located in the reach zone of the Ukrainian artillery, and they fire at these places and practically do not allow our repair brigades to approach them. At the same time, they say the same thing that we do. But, as Mr. Grossi said, there are maggot employees there. They keep quiet, actually feeling embarrassed by the ongoing processes. But they see everything. They see what is going on. Are we hitting ourselves or what? It is clear that this is nonsense. This is a dangerous game. And on the other hand, people should also understand that if they continue to play this game, they still have nuclear power plants operating on their side. And what prevents us from responding in a mirrored way? Let them think about it. This is the first point.
The Zaporizhzhia plant, occupied by Russian forces since March 2022, has been disconnected from Ukraine's national grid for over a week, compounding the risk of a catastrophic incident. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky described the situation as critical, with diesel generators providing temporary power, one of which has already failed. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha warned that Moscow is preparing to reconnect the plant to the Russian grid, potentially launching reactors without proper safety protocols.
Russia's next step will be even more dangerous, launching the reactor under occupation, without proper cooling, without appropriate licenses and supervisory procedures. This is an irresponsible step taken only to demonstrate Putin's control.
Authorities in Ukraine emphasized that every move at Zaporizhzhia is not merely a security risk, but a potential path to disaster. Past blackouts at the Chernobyl plant underline how military actions near nuclear facilities can trigger cascading safety failures.
Every step of Russia is not only a deadly risk, but also a path to disaster. The recent blackout at the Chernobyl NPP, caused by a Russian strike on the substation, has once again demonstrated how Moscow uses nuclear safety as a weapon.
The International Atomic Energy Agency, alongside Ukraine's partners, has been called upon to ensure immediate restoration of power, temporary ceasefire windows for repair, and deployment of specialized equipment, essential steps to prevent a nuclear catastrophe. As nuclear arsenals expand and conflicts continue, the balance of power and the safety of civilian populations remain at risk. Understanding these developments is not only vital for policymakers, it is essential for the global community.